Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about the different modes of prevention of disease, vaccination and how vaccination work. Before we learn all that, we need to know what are the limitations one faces while dealing with infectious diseases. If someone has a disease, their body functions are damaged and may never recover completely. So this happens when an acute disease is left untreated for such a long time that it turns to a chronic disease and it hampers the bodily function permanently. That is why it is advisable that you should treat even the minor disease as soon as possible. Treatment will take time, which means that someone suffering from a disease is likely to be bedridden for some time, even if we can give proper treatment. So medicine don't work instantly. So it will take some time to cure you, and while you are recovering, you will be exhausted, bedridden. That means that you won't be able to do your daily function like before. The person suffering from an infectious disease can serve as the source from where the infection may spread to other people. So the person who is suffering from the disease is the source of the disease, and whoever is taking care of that person might contract the disease themselves. So you can see that there are a lot of difficulties that is involved with an infectious disease. Don't you think that a prevention from beforehand is much more suitable and much more advisable than rather getting that disease? So what do we need to do for that prevention? Let us find out what are the principles of prevention. There are two ways of prevention of infectious diseases. They are the general way and the specific way. The general ways of prevention include public hygiene, which is the most important for prevention of infectious diseases. Proper and sufficient food for everyone will make people healthy. To resist infection, airborne disease can be prevented by living in conditions that are not crowded. Waterborne diseases can be prevented by providing safe drinking water. Vector-borne diseases can be prevented by providing clean environment. So, as a part of the public hygiene, what you can do is, you should not litter anywhere. You should throw garbage in the trash. You should not let water to be collected anywhere, because we know that stagnant water is the breeding ground from malaria. And malaria is a vector-borne disease. Also, if you are not littering anywhere, if you are not letting garbage accumulate, that means you are creating less water pollution as well, and it is giving you a chance of having safe drinking water. In case of airborne disease, whenever you are out in public, you should always use handkerchief while you sneeze or cough, because the droplets while you sneeze or cough that has been coming out from your mouth can be inhaled by someone else and they can fall sick. Also, one of the most important things that you should remember, while maintaining health, you need to have a balanced proper diet, because a balanced proper diet will give you power and energy to resist any kind of infection. Now let us learn about the specific ways of prevention of infectious disease. These specific ways to prevent infectious disease is immunization by taking vaccines. Vaccines provide immunity from infectious disease like tetanus, diphtheria, whooping cough, measles, polio, etc. Our body has an immune system which fights microbial infection. When the system perceives an infectious microbe, it kills the microbe and remembers it. So if the microbe enters the body, the next time it responds more vigorously. Vaccines mimic the infectious microbe and strengthen our immune system and protect the body from infectious diseases. So here you need to understand how our body immune system actually works. So this is the initial exposure, that is the first time the antigen is going inside the body. So antigen is any foreign substance that is entering the body, and in response to the antigen, our body is making a protein called antibody which fights with that antigen and resists it from creating any disease or making it fatal. So this is the initial exposure when the antigen is entering the body, and it is the primary immune response. So you can see the primary immune response is not much. It is resisting the disease, it is fighting against the particular microbe, but at the same time it is remembering it, how the microbe works, what is the function of it, what are the proteins secreted from the microbe, what are the side effects, everything. So in this case, the body's immune system has already defeated this particular microbe and you recovered. But when the same microbe is again exposed to the body, the secondary immune response is a lot more vigorous. Why? Because in the primary immune response, the body's immune system has already remembered what it has done the first time. So in the initial exposure, if you had say fever or headache, in the secondary exposure, you might not have it, or you might not contract the disease at all, because your immune response is already very much prepared on how to tackle that particular disease. Vaccines are now available for preventing a whole range of infectious disease and provide disease-specific means of prevention. There are vaccines against tetanus, diphtheria, whooping cough, measles, polio, and many others. These form the public health program of childhood immunization for preventing infectious diseases. So, in every country, from a very young age, several kinds of vaccines for tetanus, diphtheria, whooping cough, measles, polio are given, so that if that particular child encounters that particular disease later on their life or in future, they can resist it. So here you need to understand what is a vaccine. Vaccine actually contains virus or microorganism in a weakened live or kill state. It stimulates the body's adaptive immunity and helps prevent sickness from an infectious disease. But you must be wondering that why are we putting microbes in our body even if we are not sick? This is because we can fool the immune system into developing a memory for a particular infection by putting something that mimics the microbe we want to vaccinate against into the body. This does not actually cause the disease, but this would prevent any subsequent exposure. So what happens is, say if you are getting vaccinated for polio, so we are administering a weakened or a dead polio microbe into the body, so that the body get accustomed to it and can develop an immune system against it. In future, if you actually is exposed to the polio virus or the polio microbe, then your body will create the secondary immune response and will resist it instantly. This is nothing new. This has been going on for several centuries in traditional Indian and Chinese medicinal system. People used to rub the skin crust from smallpox victim into the skin of healthy people. They hoped to induce a mild form of smallpox that would create a resistance against these sort of diseases. That would be the end of the video. Thank you for listening.